Let's talk about relationship and dating apps, actually. Adrian, you found a way to put love and data together somehow. Tell me how.
Well, we've been looking at various sources of data science, and what's really interesting is one of the most sort of active fields is dating science, right? Which is looking at looking at dating site data to figure out what makes a good match. Is it that people live close together? Is it how quickly they respond to each other? Is it that they have the same preferences, or is it the language they use in their messages? These kind of things. And so sites like eHarmony and OkCupid, they publish pretty detailed data science blogs. We were thinking about that, and we were thinking, well, there's a lot of parallels here between that kind of data science and the way that they analyze their data, and the way that our customers, who are just 70,000 regular businesses in a range of industries, the way that those people are trying to make connections to their customers and build long-lasting customer relationships. Right? There's definitely a trend in industry, a recognition that customer service is no longer just a cost center. It's no longer something that you just do so you can handle people's complaints and get them off the phone as quickly as possible. Brands are seeing it as an opportunity to really build a long-term relationship between brand and consumer. And so, given that they're in the relationship building business, data science from dating seems like a good place to go mine.
Yeah, it's of course for sure an interesting spot. You found also out that reaction time is crucial. So reacting too early is not good.
That's right. Yeah, we were looking at the satisfaction rating. So we measure. We let the end customer say this was a good interaction with the brand, or this was a bad interaction, and we collect hundreds of millions of those pieces of data. And when you have hundreds of millions of anything, you can kind of look at trends and other things. And we see a whole bunch of trends in there that one of which is the longer it takes you to reply to a customer, the less likely it is they're going to give you a good satisfaction rating. Sort of, it's fairly, I wouldn't say it's obvious, but it's sort of an interesting realization. And then there's, insights about the number of times that you have to reply before you get to the right answer and these kind of things. What we found with the time to first response, though, the amount of time it takes you to reply initially, is that if you reply too quickly, people recognize that it's actually a machine generating that response. And, people in particular, I think, don't like to be responded to by a robot, right? There's this whole robot message phobia that exists out there in consumer land and in the world. And, we get frustrated with automated responses. We think that a brand isn't necessarily taking my case seriously. And so there's probably a 15 to 20% difference in terms of replying after 30 minutes or within 30 minutes versus replying within 30 seconds.
You also had a rather strange finding in terms of junk food. People don't like each other, but vegetarians do.
That's right. Yeah, I think we were looking at data from eHarmony, which is a dating site, and they published a study which actually shows that they looked at the food preferences of men and women who got together and form relationships. And I think it was vegetarians really like each other. There's a 44% likelihood they'll make a match, as opposed to junk food eaters and self-hating junk food eaters don't want to hang out together. And there are parallels that we can draw there in terms of, I think one of the lessons you can learn in customer service is that that's an insight. You might think you know your customers, right, anecdotally, and you've met a lot of them, but that kind of insight you can only get by studying very large pools of data, right? You have to look across and pattern match millions of records to actually, come up with that kind of knowledge.
Is it also sometimes that you don't find out the reason for that and just say, okay, if the data tell me that, it's true?
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges, I think, with using machine learning in enterprise software is that there's often a ghost in the machine. Like, the data tells you that, but all you can do is create hypotheses as to why that is a predicted outcome, right? I think it makes sense to us to say, if I have to have a many-stage back and forth in customer service, I'll get a lower satisfaction rating, or if it takes me a long time to reply. But then there are other random insights that we had looking at, use of the English language in tickets that said, yours sincerely was significantly better performing than best wishes, right? Why would that be? Who knows? That's the kind of thing that you can only learn it from the data. You wouldn't have figured that out on your own.
Okay. Thanks for the great insights. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.